want to start this video out by saying that I am far from a Swiftie. I jam out to the oldies, can sing a lot of these at the top of my lungs because, I don't know, they're just iconic. The new ones, though, I kind of passively tend to ignore them. I also question whether or not Taylor Swift actually understands the story of Hamlet. But either way, we're opening up this Elias Pettersson related video with some Taylor Swift talk because of what was posted onto social media by some very keen-eyed Vancouver Canucks fans. Turns out, Elias Pettersson and his wife Caitlin were shown on the last episode of the Taylor Swift docuseries. Now, I don't know anything about the Taylor Swift docuseries. I'm going to assume it's something to do with the Eras Tour that ended in Vancouver, and you could actually see there is a frame or two of Elias Pettersson with his wife. That's awesome. We also had some other pictures of them actually at the event. I don't know, I thought it was cool to be able to link some really interesting moments in social media and pop culture lore. The Eras Tour, you know, say what you want about Taylor Swift, I certainly have in my day, but was a pretty successful tour, if I do say so myself, and Elias Pettersson happening to be in the documentary is a pretty cool thing. But either way, this is not technically a Taylor Swift Pettersson video. I wanted to talk instead about Tocchet. Tocchet about the Tocchet. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to go with, because earlier this week, there was an article posted by Patrick Johnston on The Province following Vancouver's meetup with the Philadelphia Flyers and Rick Tocchet, wherein Tocchet and his team ended up victorious. This article will be linked in the description. Patrick Johnston does some great work. Ex-Canucks coach Rick Tocchet is in a brotherly groove in Philly. The ex-Canucks coach is sad to have left, but happy with where he landed. Now, I think you can infer where exactly we're going to go with this article. There's a bunch of Rick Tocchet, Philadelphia talk, and I guess there's a lot more that we can uncover with this situation. In particular, I think the Rick Tocchet Matvei Mishkov discourse is something we're going to have to inevitably make a video about at some point, especially in how it mirrors Elias Pettersson and the situation here in Vancouver. But what I wanted to instead refer to was Tocchet speaking out about Pettersson and Miller. Yeah, that's right. If you had tuned into the video previous on this channel, you would have seen that, hey, JT Miller wasn't playing yesterday for New York. I wanted to expand more on him, courtesy of some comments made by Rick Tocchet. This article does a pretty deep dive into Tocchet's start with the Flyers this year and how everything is going. Not for the faint of heart, every game is one goal or a shootout or OT. It's been really fun to coach this Philadelphia Flyers squad. I enjoy the fact that you partner with a player, Tocchet says, of coaching, and you ask, how do we get to where we want to go? I don't always have the answers, but that's why you put a staff together, and why you come up with a game plan. It's gratifying to make a player better. You hope when we're 10, 15, 20 years from now, they'll go, hey, that guy helped me. He helped my career. He made me better. That's not really a cheesy statement. I believe in that. I really want to help. That's what made his departure from the Vancouver Canucks so heartbreaking for him. Last season was a mess, for all his efforts. The players, he cared about all of them, but he couldn't find a way to make things good again like they had been the season before when the Canucks lost a thrilling second-round playoff series to the Oilers. You learn from your experiences. You become better. You become a better coach from experiences, Tocchet said, reflecting on his time with Vancouver. You look back and think, hey, can I get things different? I'd like to get to the problem right away, and I probably would say I should get to the problem quicker than ever. Now, for the Vancouver experience, maybe I thought I did get quickly at the problems, but I probably should have got some of the problems a lot quicker. Now, we recognize the way that Rick Tocchet speaks to the media, and I'm pretty sure these quotes are verbatim what he said, but there's a lot of, maybe beating around the bush here when it comes to what Tocchet is referring to. Obviously, problems that he thought he addressed, but problems that he probably should have tried to address earlier. I wonder who he's talking about. I wonder which team dynamic maybe needed a lot more attention earlier on. I wonder which situation might have gotten so bad that it emotionally drained everybody, not just the coach, but also the captain of the team who was already interested in leaving at that point. Let's scroll down, shall we? As in Elias Pettersson and JT Miller? The Great Divide, as it were? Tocchet says this, well, I mean, there were other things too. But obviously that's the elephant in the room. The big one. There were other little things. Little things, Louis Eriksson. But I mean, you can go back and ask what ifs and stuff like that. Could we get to the issue a little bit quicker? It was always brewing, but it was never a force. It wasn't a 10 blazer. Could we have got so that we got the fire trucks a little bit quicker to the flames? Maybe. I don't know. In the end, though, how things exploded last season with Miller's departure changed his career equation. After the success of 2024, you'd have thought he would still be keen to stay long-term. But as things shifted, more and more he realized he had to be ruthless about his own future. Still, choosing to go wasn't easy. Man, this is a really interesting quote. Just debating what ifs. Was there an opportunity for the Vancouver Canucks coaching staff and management to address the fire between Pettersson and Miller earlier? Get those fire trucks quicker to the flames? His conclusion is maybe. But I don't know. Always brewing, never a force. Which checks out with a lot of what the insiders had been saying for years leading up to the JT Miller and Elias Pettersson blow up, I guess you can say. You just gotta remember, JT Miller played his entire Vancouver Canucks career with Elias Pettersson on the team. He started out his Canucks career on the lotto line with Pettersson and Besser. He played as a winger back then, so it was really interesting to see how things worked out. Especially since, from the very beginning, it was clear that these guys were talented enough to play together and have success together. It's just things took a weird turn when JT Miller got 99 points, the next year Pettersson got 100, and then the year after that Miller got 100. These were so good for the Vancouver Canucks to have two guys that can be 100-point caliber players, but they just could not coexist. And Tocchet is acknowledging that, yeah, I mean, it was brewing. The stuff that was going on in that locker room that we could not fix, it was brewing. This is where Tocchet talks about his departure from the Vancouver Canucks. We don't need to dive too much into this. I don't really think that this is like the main meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about in this video, but he says it was devastating. I'm sure people get pissed off that I left. They say that I quit. This wasn't an easy decision. This was an emotional thing. When I talked to Jim and I told him I wasn't coming back, I was very emotional about it. Vancouver job is a great job. I had a blast there. Nobody ran me out of town. The media was great. People talk about Vancouver Twitter. I don't read that stuff. When I was in the city, I walked around the city all the time. I never had a bad experience. People were great. That was the hard part. The fans are great. They really are. So it was really hard to leave 100%. Yeah, I don't know, man. The Rick Tocchet idea is so interesting to me. Oh, it's Quit Hughes, JT Quitter, Rick Tocchet. Like, something about Canucks fans the past few months here on social media, it's become a little salty. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Canucks Twitter has always been salty, but I think now, more than ever before, there's ample reason for Canucks fans to believe these things and to say them in the social media landscape, like, oh yeah, Quinn Hughes quit on the team. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's actually pretty legit. Was he rightful in quitting the team? Yeah, absolutely. It is his prerogative. The team didn't surround him with a good team. That is absolutely his motivation, and it makes sense, but still, he quit. JT Quitter, I mean, you look at the body language before he was traded away, that guy was checked out. Rick Tocchet? Tocchet. Ah, man, you could say the same thing about him. I don't know, though. Either way, what I want you to let me know in the comments section is, how do you feel about Rick Tocchet addressing the Elias Pettersson and JT Miller beef one more time in this article on the province, which will be linked in the description? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. We are not going to continue talking about Hughes, by the way, and a very particular number 3 trending story on the province about a certain Hughes and a certain potential girlfriend. Who really knows? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.